Hi guys, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Or fuck Friday for those of you that work all weekend. So yeah. Okay, the Cherokee thing is over. Almost. There was a little bit of information that I found in the deed to my actual house, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to share it with you guys. So, it is very neat. It's just the historical notes about the house itself. So everybody, I don't know if everybody gets a deed like this to their house. Very old. So the historical notes talk about the Indians and basically everything that happened to them here. And then there's another snippet of a witch that is said to still linger where I live. So, my area, don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I have talked to one witch, though, that claimed that ships burned here. So, we will see. So, as far as the historical notes, anyway, well, first, thank you, Wired Ferret, for correcting the information on the Cherokee. The stuff that I did leave out was pretty brutal, so I didn't want to put that out there. I didn't want to send that energy out there. It just didn't feel right. I didn't feel like it was a good thing to say. I didn't say it, but thank you so much for actually knowing and just everything that you're telling us and teaching us. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, alright, the historical notes, it's just kind of hit and miss. It's not directly, it's related to the Indians, the Native Americans that were in this area before, that named my, it is literally a village that I live in, outside of a town, a city, which is nice, so, and the village, or whatever you want to call it, does have its own. It's like you are stepping into a different time period. Literally like you are going back in time when you come out here from the city. So I've noticed small differences, changes from the city to coming back out here. So I will tell you, it was called Pearsonville. And it was actually, named by the Indians. So, that was pretty cool. So, we have the chief nominee that, I told you guys before that he protects our lands and everything. So, and these are just a few historical notes that I found pretty interesting in the deed for my house. Also with the umpteen million records of the suicide and murders within this house and on the land. Yeah, it's all right here. This is a horror story. Stephen King, you would love this. The actual Stephen King. You're not famous. You're famous. You're famous to me. Stephen King. You know who I'm talking about. There's two Stephen Kings. So, okay, this is just the historical notes. So it says, the title to all the lands in Indiana was obtained by the United States by cession from the state of Virginia by the Act of the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Virginia, December 20th, 1783. That's a long time ago. That was a good year. A very good year. So agreeably to above recited act, the whole territory north of the West Ohio River was on March 1st, 1784, transferred to the United States by deed signed by Thomas Jefferson, Samuel Hardy, Arthur Lee, and James Monroe, then delegates in Congress from said Commonwealth. Upon the extinction of the Indian title of right of occupancy by treaties with the various tribes of Indians, these lands were surveyed and sold to settlers and were commonly called government lands. So they kicked them out of here too, and that's sad. That's very sad. No wonder there's such an energy about this village. Now I sound like I'm out in the middle of nowhere in a strange little village like the movie The Village. You never know. No. The treaties covering the lands in said county, I will not say my county, are known as Treaty at Tippecanoe, October 26th and 27th of 1832. Treaty at Carey Mission, September 20th, 1828, and Treaty at Missawiana, October 16th, 1826, concerning the Michigan Road. So, the first named treaty embraced all of the lands in the county, except a small part in the northeast corner, which is covered by the second named treaty, and the land south of the Tippecanoe River, which is covered by the third named treaty. The government surveys were made in December of 1833 and January 1834. Michigan Road lands section were surveyed in 1832, as appears by the field notes on file in the recorder's office of blah 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 county blah 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 Indiana. Sorry guys, it's for my own protection. Don't worry, I would love to tell you guys all of everything. So, for various purposes, the United States ceded large tracts of land to the state of Indiana, and they are known by the following names, viz. Canal lands, Michigan road lands, swamp lands, saline lands, university lands, seminary lands, and school lands. The state sold these lands under various acts of General Assembly, and patents were issued to the purchaser in the name of the state. All of these patents are recorded in the Office of the Auditor of State, except for those of school lands, which are recorded in the records of the borders of the commissioners of the counties in which the land is situated. But prior to 1847, patents for Wabash and Erie Canal lands were issued by the state upon the state surrendering its title to these lands to the boards of trustees of the Wabash and Erie Canal in that year. They were issued thereafter by that body. All of the records of that body were placed in the custody of the Auditor of State in 1833 by an order of the United States Court for this state. The lands known as swamp lands were granted to the states of Indiana by Act of Congress, approved September 28th of 1850, entitled An Act to Enable the State of Arkansas and other states to reclaim the swamplands within their limits. So I am guessing that is to enable whoever they kicked out of here and took over, that they can take it back. That's just kind of what I'm taking. So I'm not sure. So the title to this land vested in the state of Indiana by virtue of the said acts of Congress without the issuing of a patent, therefore by the United States. So yes, it gives me tons of volumes, stuff to read, stuff to go to the city, like wherever you find all your information. But it's really, seriously very cool. Just my township. It's crazy. I'll show you guys this one. But this is just all Indian land there. I'll give you guys a really quick glimpse. But yeah, that's the only thing that I have on this land. And this is very old, obviously. Very, very old. Oh yes. Oh, the page is, I'm gonna break it. So I'm gonna get getting some shit if I broke that. Worth some money. So yeah. And then we have a couple other folk tales. Of witches. We don't know if it was really a witch or not. They're very interesting. So it's very interesting. I still like to consider myself living in a village outside of the common people, because I'm not very common. So, as for the witch, let me find her. Let me find her for you guys, because I think you will love just everything. Okay, and this is called The Pioneer History of Indiana, .339. I don't know what that means. I don't care. I'm guessing it has to do with section 339 of whatever, the history of the book, or whatever, wherever this information came from. So, this is interesting. This is all about my town, my village. Literally, yeah, a village. A village. That's all I gotta say, it's a village. So, okay, the pioneer history of Indiana, witchcraft and witches. This is interesting. So, to the educated and cultured people of this date, it sounds strange, indeed, that there ever was a period in this or any other country's history when such foolish fallacy as pioneer history of Indiana .339 witchcraft was believed in, but such was the fact. Witchcraft and witches were the bane of the lives of every respectable and able people. New England had overdone the witch business so much in an early day that those believing such foolery at a later period were content to silently suffer the imaginary wrongs from those that they thought were witches without resorting to the drastic measures to punish them. So we too had witch trials here, but nothing compared to what happened in Massachusetts. Nothing. Thank God. Very strange. Very strange. So, okay, in fact, the conduct of the Puritans and such a reaction of them on themselves for brutally murdering innocent men and women on spectral evidence, that ever since there was such an odium attached to believers in witchcraft that none were willing to own any connection with it. The early settlers in Indiana were mostly from the South. Yeah, that explains a lot about my country, or my state. And but a few of them ever heard of Salem and the witch trials. Some of them believed in witchcraft in a mild form. A mild form. If a gun did not shoot well, it was often said to be bewitched. If the butter refused to gather, some said a witch had put a spell on the churn. If soap wouldn't thicken, it is said that some old witch was the cause. So strange. If a hen failed to hatch well, or a cow should give bloody milk, it was attributed by some to witches. This belief was confirmed to be very few in this section. Early in the 30s, a band of nomads named Griffys, located in eastern Gibson County, about 1.5 miles northwest of Oakland City. They built floorless huts in cluster around a large spring on land that they recently belonged to William M. Thompson. There were 30 or 40 people in the colony. This is where I live right now. Strange. So all of whom were superstitious and believed in witches and ghosts. They were looked upon as indolent, lazy, set, but had one feature about their manner of living, which was certainly commendable. They had several very old people with them, men and women whom they cared for, and who were not related to them, or had any claim on them, but had been gathered into this colony for no other reason than a sympathy for their helpless and forlorn condition. At one time, Jonas and Casway Griffey came to see my father and wanted small change in bits and quarters for a 340 Pioneer History of Indiana silver dollar. One of them wanted to know if the silver would melt in a ladle with lead. My father at once concluded that they wanted to make counterfeit coins, and told him he was surprised to think that they would undertake such a business. They were much more alarmed at what the father said to them, and they said that they had thought of doing wrong, but that they had a secret among themselves. They had not intended to tell, but would have to tell him in order to clear themselves of suspicion, and enjoined by my father to keep it. This is very interesting. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. Okay, so they had lived for some years in Martin County, the state, before coming to this park, and they had so much trouble that they moved away in the hope that their trouble would cease. But for the last several months, the same trouble had come to them, and they were planning to rid themselves of the evil. And this is the really sad part. So, they decided to rid themselves of the evil. Where did I go? I figure out. Okay. They bulleted the small coin so they could melt it in lead and run it into bullets for the purpose of disabling witches so that they could let them alone. They said there was an old woman who lived near them in Martin County who was a terror to all the county around. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Where did it go? I lost my spot, you guys. I lost my spot. Oh, she did not fear anything. She would ride without a bridle and saddle the wildest, unbroken horse, and would fight any man. She had nearly killed 2 of their neighbors in a fight. They said that before they had moved down there, they had 4 head of cows, but could not get any milk from 2 of them at any time. They were always milked dry. The old witch did not have any cows, but always had plenty of milk and butter. We tried, said they, many ways to find out how the cows were milked, but they did not succeed. Until one morning, one of our women went up to the old witch's house and saw her doing something with a towel, which was hanging in a small window. While the witch's back was turned, she determined to find out what she was doing. She first stuck in a pin in the towel and named it for one of the cows. Then she took hold of the fringe and and commenced to milk as if it were milking a cow, or she were milking a cow. Then she took hold of the fringe. Oh, I already said that. When she had finished that cow, she put another pin into the towel and named it after our other best cow and proceeded to milk her in the same way. At night, she would assume the form of a black cat and go all over our homes. We tried many times to kill the cat, but could not do it. Finally, old Mr. Mitko, one of our people, saw the cat go into his room. He closed the door and armed himself with an axe. Opening the door, a little wadge to let the cat run out, which it did, he cut off one of its ears. The next morning, one of our women went over to see the old lady and found in her bed with her a bandage on her head. That night she went back to Mr. McCodge's cabin, found the ear, and it grew back as well as ever, except that it was cropped. After that, same black cat was seen with one cropped ear. We brought the same 4 cows when we moved down here. The range was good. They gave an abundance of milk. About 2 months ago, 2 of our men were in the woods hunting and saw the same cropped ear black cat. Ever since that evening, our best 2 cows have given no milk. It's cool. I love the history of this stuff. And we have many other troubles which we attribute to the same cause, to the witch, or that black cat with the cropped ear. I actually have a funky cropped ear on this side. That's weird. So ever since that, a few years later, where'd I go? A few years later, the section that these Griffiths occupied had a terrible scourge of what was known as the Black Tongue, and 15 or 20 of the colony died from the dreadful disease. They attributed it all to the same black-eared cat, and as soon as they were able to get away, they moved east on the Patoga River, and none of them were ever seen in this section again. I have never been able to learn if the same one-eared black cat still followed them up, inflicting misfortune upon them. So, that's, I've read more about that too. You can actually look her up. And she is just, it's scary. It's not scary that she did that, or supposedly caused the misfortune of the cats, or the cows and all of that. But the ear, seriously, the ear, so cool. Such a cool story. I love it. I do. I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible. It gives me passion. It gives me even more passion to go explore. I would love to go explore and find, the witches of this land. I would. So, I just thought I just thought it was cool. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Something fun for a Friday night. Or Friday day. Or Friday morning. Or almost Saturday morning for some of you. But yeah. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty cool. I would love to see that cat. If I ever do, I will get a picture. Well, I will coax it to me. And I'll probably keep it. How cool would that be? So, it's a little history. A little bit of history. Getting in the mood. Halloween is coming. Obviously, Halloween does not stop for me. It's an all year round deal. So, yeah. Last night I got the book finished, I think. I did. So it's time to find a publisher, an editor, and a publisher. So I have got a few things to get going for you guys. So tonight's the full moon ritual. It's going to be fun, so I'm excited for that. Are you guys participating? Yeah. I'm going to do the sacred tobacco, the sacred pipe tobacco ceremony. I'm going to do it just like you did. You said, Wired Ferret. I don't want to, do anything with it. Disrespect. I want it to be all very respectful. So yeah, that's just a little bit of our history of my area, my neck of the woods. Literally, within the woods. I am a very tiny village that is surrounded by nothing but woods. In the woods. In the woods. So yeah, you guys can kind of get a hint of an idea of my village, if you want to call it a village. I don't know. Pretty cool though. It is very, very cool. I think it's amazing. All the stories and just everything. There's another story a couple houses down. Well, actually, probably 2 miles down. Oh, my fucking nose itches. There used to be a woman that, back in the 30s, lived right across the railroad tracks. And she was considered a witch. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know her story. All I know is that after she moved out, the upstairs had no way. You had no way to get upstairs. Just like my house. My house was built. This floor was built up. The second story was built first. Well, it was the bottom and then the second, obviously. But it had no way. They didn't build stairs. So they had to actually use a ladder at my window to get upstairs, which is strange. And I have always felt that window to be not a portal, but just a window of, in my mind I can see spirits coming through and going and coming through and going. So it's like a pathway, a walkway for all kinds of strange things to happen at night. So yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to get to know the history of your land and everything that happened and just all that stuff. Oh, the witch. People would break in when the house was vacant, and they would go up to the attic. Supposedly, on the floor, they would find different heads of animals on a giant pentagram that had been painted on the floor in red, which was supposedly blood. And there were definitely, I did see quite a few books that people had stolen from that house. I never touched them. I just felt, no, that's not mine. It belonged to somebody else. You stole it. It's your problem. So you can live with that for the rest of your life. And yeah, I just think all the weird stuff that came out of that house was incredibly just strange. Very strange. So, I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting. Goddamn cigarettes keep going out. So, all right, guys. I think that's it. I think that is it. Well, first, the book, the homoerotic stories. I'm gonna get that done. I promise. I want to get that done, and I want to get that out. I think that's going to be something that can be self-published. The Stories of the Beast is another book in itself. So, there's going to be another one. I have two that need to be gone through and published, which I think I can do myself. I'm not 100% sure with the self-publishing thing. So, and then all I need to do now is find an editor for the book on witchcraft. I don't have a title yet, nothing yet. No, nobody can see it yet. Only one person has seen it. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Nothing against anybody, but I don't want that information out yet until it's published, copywritten, all that stuff. So, it'll be good. It'll be good. And I hope you guys like it. And I will do audio, PDF, or audiobook. Definitely. Because there's a lot of people that need it. So, I have the means to do it, so I can do it for you guys. And yeah, so I have just so much going on up here. So much. The creative process it's better this time. Not so self-harming to the body, to the inside of the body. So, but yeah, alright guys, happy full moon. It's gonna be fun tonight, I think. Hope. I have everything going. I'm gonna have I have a special candle for you guys, just for, ourselves, for empowerment, love, kindness, compassion, all of that. So, I will be lighting that for you guys. And then I will just do you guys know how I do my rituals. And I will probably do some sort of divination for all of us. Either Ouija, runes, which is runes, or the tarot cards, or just plain channeling. Just plain channeling. So, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be really, really fun. So, but, alright guys. Everybody have a great day. Have a great weekend. Some great movies come out this weekend. With the Blair Witch? What comes out? The Blair Witch today, I think. I don't know. Something I'm dying to see. Ouija? No, that's October 15th. for the United States. So we get Ouija on Halloween. Well, the 15th of next month. So, all kinds of fun stuff to do tonight. Movies to watch, books to read, all kinds of good stuff. Videos to watch. So, alright guys. I love you all very much, and everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. If you go out, be safe, be safe, be safe. So, I love you all very, very, very much. And I hope you all have a great weekend. And I will see you guys tomorrow.